For all their strangeness, they are, in certain core ways, remarkably persistent throughout human history, and strikingly prevalent across human societies. Yet too often these fears, anxieties, and terrors have been ignored, sidelined, laughed away, or pushed out of view when they surface close to home. The distancing of harmful, antisocial, and maleficent, to use a previously obscure Latin word that literally means doing or making bad, and which is now rather better known thanks to a 2014 Disney movie, witchcraft usually happens in one of two ways. Either witchcraft is historicized as belonging to the mental baggage of the pre-modern past, the stifling debris of the ancient systems of thought that so befuddled and bewildered our ancestors. Or it is exoticized as belonging to cultures in distant parts of the world, usually in economically underdeveloped and exploited places. Casting magic's dark shadow over our forebears and onto foreigners in this way certainly results in a comforting tale for contemporary Westerners to tell themselves, a reassuring fable about rich nations being such advanced, orderly, and sophisticated places that their citizens and policymakers needn't concern themselves with the currency of radical beliefs about sinister occult powers. Yet this self-aggrandizing myth of a largely secularized and securely disenchanted West is not only empirically wrong, but actively harmful too. As well as being implicitly chauvinistic, it obscures a litany of experiences, suffering, attitudes, problems, traditions, and beliefs that really do deserve our attention. Although we might like to think otherwise, the notion of harmful witchcraft, or mystic interpersonal harm, as I more broadly define it in the text, resonates in numerous different forms in the modern West. It haunted the imaginations of considerable numbers of Britons during the 19th century, affected rather fewer during the 20th, and yet it still resonates today, partly because it has undergone a modest revival since the 1970s. What this reminds us is that witchcraft evolves when the zeitgeist alters. It adapts as the conditions of life and the nature of governance change. It finds niches. As a result, it continues to have serious consequences for people's health, wealth, reputations, and safety. I want to make my particular focus on malevolent magic clear at the outset, because today, witchcraft denotes very many things indeed. I don't just mean figuratively, metaphorically, and imaginatively. Literally and concretely, witchcraft now stands for a huge range of practices, rites, identities, religions, styles, and spiritualities. This proliferation began primarily in mid-20th century England, with the creation of the modern pagan religion of Wicca. A female-centric, nature-focused countercultural creed, Wicca powerfully rejected the historical image of witches as wicked magicians, as supernatural death dealers who enjoyed nothing more than blighting their neighbors with vicious spells. In time, Wicca's reinterpretation of witchcraft spread to fertile grounds in the Americas, Australasia, and continental Europe. Smaller numbers of adherents coalesced in Russia, South Africa, Japan, and elsewhere. While this was happening, Wicca subdivided into numerous different styles and traditions, eventually inspiring other types of modern witchcraft that neither identified themselves as Wiccan nor pagan. Since the millennium, this diversification has accelerated, resulting in a remarkably creative outpouring of witchcraft-related spirituality, learning, ritual, writing, commerce, and fashion. Today, hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of people worldwide are experimenting with, studying, adapting, and creating different iterations of modern witchcraft. As a result, we now have not only Wicca, but also hedge witchcraft, urban witchcraft, fairy witchcraft, queer witchcraft, art witchcraft, traditional witchcraft, backwoods witchcraft, mountain witchcraft, and, from the deltas of the United States, swamp witchcraft. And this is to name just a few. At this point, I feel I should acknowledge the importance of